Lord, we give you all the thanks, all the praise. We thank you for bringing us here today. We pray that our launching today will be of a success, and we look forward to your blessings. We pray that our launching will be for the improvement of our trade facilitation in Dominica, and that our members of the public will find ways to see improvement in applying for their licenses and other import permits, Lord. Lord, we give you praise and we give you thanks. In Jesus' name I pray.
Please have a seat. Honorable Dr. Irvin McIntyre, Minister for Finance, Economic Development, Climate Resilience, and Social Security. Honorable Dr. Vince Henderson, Minister for Foreign Affairs, International Business, Trade, and Energy. Other members of Cabinet. Permanent Secretaries, Mr. Vincent Christmas, Acting Comptroller of Customs and Excise Division. Mr. Michael White, Acting Assistant Comptroller, Customs and Excise Division. Mr. Alt Vidal, Acting Assistant Comptroller. Mr. Fabian Joseph, Chief Executive Officer, Digitized Solution. Other invited guests, members of the media, the listening and viewing public. My task today is simple. Welcome to the Ministry of Finance. I will allow the Acting Comptroller to welcome you.
Good morning. Good morning, and a very well welcome to the official launch of Tradestream. It is indeed a great privilege and honor to stand before you today at this milestone event. On behalf of the Customs Division and the Ministry of Finance, Economic Development, Climate Resilience, and Social Security, I would like to thank all of you present for making this occasion possible. Please allow me to acknowledge the presence of Dr. Honorable Irvin McIntyre, Minister of Finance, Economic Development, Climate Resilience, and Social Security, Honorable Vince Henderson, Minister of Foreign Affairs, International Business, Trade and Energy, other members of Cabinet, Ms. Karen Prevost, Secretary to the Cabinet, Ms. Dennis Edwards, Financial Secretary, Permanent Secretaries, Mr. Michael White, Acting Assistant Comptroller of Customs and Excise Division, Mr. Alt Vidal, Acting Assistant Comptroller of the Customs Division, Mr. Fabian Joseph, Chief Executive Officer and CEO of Digitized Solutions, other invited guests, members of the media, the listening and viewing public. Customs is one of the government's oldest departments, which is mandated to collect and protect revenues, protect society, and facilitate trade, among other things. Today, our focus here is on Tradestream, which is a trade facilitation tool. It is a digital platform which will set the stage for a transformative chapter in Dominica's trade environment. We are stepping into an era of smarter, faster, and greener trade, and the significance of this cannot be understated. The implementation of Tradestream will streamline border regulatory procedures by allowing a single submission of all necessary information for obtaining licenses, permits, certificates, and other documents related to the import and export procedures. This platform will be beneficial to both the business community and government by affording the opportunity to conduct paperless transactions, which will reduce cost, time of doing business, and ensure the liberalization of global trade and investment. In essence, we are here to celebrate innovation, collaboration, and the relentless pursuit of excellence. Today, we reaffirm Dominica's readiness to continue embracing advanced technology for the prosperity of our nation, leveraging our human and technological resources to foster growth and sustainability. This occasion should not only be a celebration for Dominica, but a clarion call to our fellow customs administrations in the OECS. Let our steps today inspire you to also embark on this transformative journey. Together, we can make the Eastern Caribbean a powerhouse of efficient, sustainable, and technology-advanced trade. The Tradestream is an embodiment of progress. It is a product of countless hours of hard work and cooperation among various stakeholders. I extend my sincere gratitude to Mr. Fabian Joseph, CEO of Digitized Solutions Limited, and his team, who have partnered with our local teams at Customs, the Ministry of Trade, and the Division of Planned Quarantine. It would be remiss of me not to recognize the pivotal role of Ms. Dennis Edwards, our distinguished Financial Secretary at the Ministry of Finance. Ms. Edwards, your leadership and guidance have been invaluable. At this point, I would like to invite Mr. Joseph to share his visionary thoughts on Tradestream and its impact on trade facilitation. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new chapter of trade in Dominica.
Thank you, Mr. Vincent Christmas. It feels like home, actually, being here for the first time for Dominica, where we claim Dominica as being the first for doing something. So let me start by recognizing protocol already established by the previous speakers. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Please permit me, if you may, to take this opportunity to extend my deepest respects to Minister of Finance, Dr. Irvin McIntyre, for his efforts and his commitment to trade in Dominica. The Honorable Dr. Vince Henderson, Minister for Foreign Affairs, International Business, Trade, and Energy. Your esteemed presence here today underscores the government of Dominica's commitment to modernizing trade. Special recognition and heartfelt gratitude are extended to Ms. Denise Edwards, and every time I come across Ms. Edwards, she's always smiling. And I believe that she is one of the main reasons why we are here celebrating this special occasion. So Ms. Edwards, you are, of course, being our distinguished moderator for today's event. Your visionary leadership and steady guidance have been cornerstones in this groundbreaking initiative, fostering a spirit of cooperation that has bridged the Ministry of Finance, the Customs Department, and the other border regulatory agencies through Digitized Solutions Electronic Trade Single Window. To Mr. Vincent Christmas, Acting Comptroller of Customs and Excise, your department's unwavering support and collaborative spirit have been instrumental in bringing us to this momentous day. Your team's expertise and proactive approach has proven invaluable. I must, of course, recognize the absence of Mr. Roderick Deschamps. Of course, his very decisive demeanor is very commendable, and I wish to express our deepest gratitude to him as well. So what are we here today to do is basically to launch the pilot implementation of Tradestream in Dominica. So my responsibility here today is to basically go through the very short or small subset of features that I chose and categorize them into 4 different quadrants to speak within the time allotted to me today. So let us consider the key features of Tradestream. First, we look at efficient trade. The efficient trade we place under this particular category the online payment for customs transactions. This will enable swift and secure online payment transactions of customs, duties, and taxes, and other associated fees. I am often reminded of the individuals, not just the business community, not just the traders, but the common person who interact with customs almost on a daily basis for clearing barrels, clearing of other small packages for the couriers. And at times, persons have to actually use the Western Union or the money transfer systems to send money to the family and friends at home to pay taxes. So with the online payment, what we expect to happen is that once persons are willing to pay duties and taxes, it shouldn't be something that they are struggling to do or they have a difficult time in doing. So the online payment will facilitate all means of payment for customs, taxes, for permit and licenses, and other services. Then we have under this area the cargo inspection and release facilities, whereby we facilitate timely inspection and releases through interagency cooperation. In our promotional video, we have this about persons having to go here or there and everywhere to conduct business with the trading community or the trading agencies. With the cargo inspection process, you will benefit significantly from this particular process via Tradestream, whereby all the agencies responsible for inspection at the ports of entry or elsewhere in the inland offices are able to all consolidate their resources to perform inspection, because Tradestream will ensure that all regulatory agencies who have an interest in any particular part of a shipment are able to permit the release of the cargo before the customs can actually issue a release order to the custodians of the cargo, for example, DASPER and FedEx and DHL. So this cargo inspection and release facility on Tradestream will facilitate the inspection of all cargo by the other agencies, whether they are by a container or at the port. Of course, normally you would need to have internet access to perform the services. And I recall during my years at the United Nations Conference for Trade and Development, where I was, as I said before, Dominica was the first for doing something, where in 2010, Dominica actually launched Assecure World for the very first time in the OECS region. At the time this happened, there was always, at the time of this implementation, there was a call for all trading personnel and entity to provide internet access to customs officials. And of course, that will extend as well to the other agencies, since they're going to be using some device to access the information provided through Tradestream. In terms of intelligent trade, we have the licenses, permits, and certificates, including the phytosanitary certificates and health certificates normally issued by the Animal Quarantine Division. This will allow for seamless management of all documents issued collaboratively by the various agencies. There's also the feature with the advanced ruling systems that will allow for customs to actually make decisions proactively in the sense that they're able to give persons who are somehow coming to clear cargo without the proper documentation, invoices, so that they could actually present a case to customs in advance of the cargo arriving in Dominica. This advanced ruling is actually something that is required under the TFA, the Trade Facilitation Agreement, and this advanced ruling system will allow for valuation to be arrived at before the cargo is shipped. Goods of the classification of goods, where you have a tariff code that is somewhat in dispute by the customs or other personnel in the trade, where customs can make a very decisive call for persons to submit the information to them to provide them with the appropriate tariff code. Then you have the rules of origin, where there is again some dispute between the actual origin of the goods. All of those will be able to be submitted via Tradestream so that customs could make the decision in advance. So by the time your cargo gets to Dominica, then you'll have all the information that you need based on the decision of customs for you to provide them with the proper declarations for the clearance. We have under this particular category the reporting and data analytics, where we provide comprehensive and timely data on key performance indicators and trade statistics. That is going to provide for more informed decisions and more timely decision making for the various policy makers. In terms of sustainable trade, Mr. Vincent Christmas did mention, of course, the paperless transaction. This is not new for Dominica in trade. I think, again, another first, I believe, was the first in the region to actually go paperless for customs submission of declaration. Of course, the Minister of Environment is Harry First on sustainability. This is going to speak very broadly of his area, where through this particular paperless transaction, it will promote environmental sustainability through digital documentation. Now we move to the IMO, the International Maritime Organization, where there are a number of forms that the carriers, the shipping agents are submitting to customs on arrival of the vessel and at times for departure. There are 7 of those forms that we have provided for on Tradestream, such as the crew effects declaration, the cargo declaration, and ship stores, a number of others that we provide for that will allow for DASPA, the Dominica NC Port Authority, and customs and other agencies involved in that particular decision-making process to perform this particular operation via Tradestream. So even while the vessel is at sea, on its way to Dominica, they will be able to submit that information to the agencies, the various agencies who need to make decisions, thereby expediting the actual turnaround time of the vessel. We have, again, for the Tradestream features, the tax relief requests. A number of areas during my tenure working with customs in the region and elsewhere in the world, this has been one of the major pain points for many of the organizations involved in approving concessions. So via Tradestream, we are going to provide the facility by which persons can request exemption of taxes, reduction of taxes, that is based on government's fiscal policies, whether it's for tourism, fiscal incentives, whether it's for industries, or even for a person who wish to clear cargo, a vehicle, or any other item on the port. They will be able to provide the application via Tradestream, and it will go through the normal workflow that is based on the process approved by the various ministries or agencies. So this will allow for persons to request their exemptions, and it will go through the process such that ASICUDA will be able to verify the value that is being reduced or the rate of tax that's been reduced for this particular person, thereby providing revenue for gone reports and having the government to understand better how those various interventions are able to impact on the economy altogether. The clearing agent authorization, which is one of the last features I'm going to speak about this morning. Clearing agent is basically the brokers. You have brokers, you have couriers, and you have the actual individuals, persons who actually come in to clear cargo on behalf of someone else. At the moment, we have a very laborious process, especially when it comes to the courier services, where persons are requiring them to clear the cargo on their behalf, the small packages coming in through FedEx and DHL, Westech, and others. Those persons are able to go to Tradestream and request of customs, to permit the individual or broker to act on their behalf without coming to customs. Okay, and this particular clearing agent authorization is going to be used not just for informal trade, but also for formal trade in Dominica. So this enables the individuals and companies to appoint authorized customs brokers, courier agents, or individuals to manage the customs requirements on their behalf. So Tradestream is, of course, a strategic initiative designed with every stakeholder in mind, from government entities to private enterprises, local farmers, and international businesses. It is designed with the future in mind, a future that is digital, efficient, and environmentally responsible. In conclusion, I wish to express my profound appreciation to the hard-working teams, both in Dominica and Digital Solutions, who have worked tirelessly to make this vision a reality. Thank you, Dominica, for entrusting Digital Solutions with this significant venture and for the opportunity to be part of this transformative journey. Thank you all for your time and your attention. And I hope that you enjoy the presentation, the demonstration of Tradestream that will be done by the brokers and the ministries towards the end of this launching ceremony. So thank you very much and have a wonderful day.
Thank you very much, Mr. Joseph. And I bet you couldn't actually keep up with the number of services that you could get through Tradestream. So I would summarize it as this. The port charges are not yet in, and the licenses from Bureau of Standards. So these are the two that we are missing. But apart from that, almost anything, apart from, actually, we wish we could have just put on the, your goods online as well, so that you wouldn't even have to come. But this is the only part we could not put on. And so we've tried to put as many services as possible into that single window to try to get us staying at our homes, whichever part of the world, and transacting in terms of our imports. Customs operates under the Ministry of Finance, but customs is also closely linked to the Ministry of Trade, because we're speaking about trade and trade facilitation, and so we work hand in hand. It's almost like a triangle. Ministry of Finance over to Customs, over to Ministry of Trade, and so it's almost like a triangle. And so any customs event, we must have the Ministry of Trade here. And the Minister of Trade will now deliver some few words to us.
Thank you, FS. Pleasant good morning to all. I want to recognize my colleagues and, of course, our guests from Digitized Solutions and the many hardworking public officers, and especially the customs officers, have a very difficult job. And because we all know how anxious we get when our barrel arrives and we're waiting to get something in there, and you're the only one standing between us and getting that thing in the barrel. So we know the pressures that you face, and that's the small ones, but I know you have much bigger pressures to deal with. I also want to recognize the staff of the Ministry of Trade, and I am very happy that Trade has the opportunity to be present here this morning, FS. And when the FS called me and told me she wanted me to attend the ceremony at 9 a.m. on a Thursday, I felt, that this was a sacrifice I'm making. But I could not resist the opportunity to speak about trade, because people see me more as a Minister of Foreign Affairs and Energy. And I feel the staff at Trade sometimes, they feel a little much like the stepchild. So I'm here this morning to speak to the role that the Ministry of Trade plays in this very important initiative. Our efforts to digitalize services across the government services is not in and of itself the thing. The thing is to facilitate transactions, but most importantly to the reduce cost. And as a benefit of that, we also reduce our carbon footprint. And that continues to build our image as the nature isle of the world. Dominica over the years has been pursuing several initiatives to facilitate transactions between the population and the government. Accessing government services are now online more than ever before. And we today are celebrating another great milestone, another great achievement to continue to facilitate the transactions between the people and the services that government provide. Tradestream in itself presents an opportunity to reduce transaction costs, and hopefully we would see a reduction in the cost of goods arriving on our shores. And that is the part that I'm not sure FS how you're going to deal with that, but I think the merchants need to be accountable as well. Those importers need to be accountable, because if we are now minimizing or reducing the transactions that you have to do to import goods into Dominica, clearly you must be reducing costs of the services that you would require to provide. And that should be reflected to the consumers. And I think at some point there has to be a serious conversation on that. But in order for Tradestream to be a reality, the support of the Ministry of Trade is critical. The Ministry of Trade provides and contains, or is, in fact, the focal point of the government and the authority of the government of Dominica to interact with the World Trade Organization and fully responsible for the implementation of those obligations which Dominica must recognize. The Ministry of Trade is also responsible for interregional trading, and we also are the authority to ensure that trade within the Caribbean and CARICOM, single market and economy, that all those rules are observed and respected. Therefore, the Ministry of Trade's input is critical in the success of Tradestream. Since 2014, we started the process, and with the support of the International Financial Cooperation, as part of the World Bank Group, we sought to get assistance to facilitate trade in Dominica. The efforts continued in 2017 when we made a special request to be part of the WTO system for trade facilitation. And by 2020, the introduction or the opportunity to be part of the single window for trade became something that we signed up to. And I'm very happy to hear, well, it's not my namesake because my name doesn't have NT in it. I'm Vince, but I think Vincent and then our friend, Mr. Joseph, when you spoke to Dominica being the first in some things, and we don't often celebrate those things. We look for the things that are wrong and we highlight them, but we have the opportunity to be a leader in the OECS and CARICOM, because I have been advised by the ministry, by the Director of Trade, that Dominica is in fact the leader in the single window trade facilitation process in the CARICOM. To date, we have met 32 out of the 36 obligations, and we're hoping that soon we will have met all, and we will be fully ready to implement and to move forward. But I wish to finally add that we must recognize that those investments that are being made are part of a broader government policy towards creating a digital economy. Digitalization is, in fact, a tool that we have to utilize to ensure that we can get more using the same inputs or even less. In other words, we should be able to have better throughput at the customs and hopefully at the port. And I think FS, the next challenge that we have will be, of course, to create some, I don't always want to say it to be something like a criticism, but in order to get more with less or with a small amount, perhaps we need to look at using technology in the area of logistics to ensure the movement of cargo through the port. Because there's no point in going through Tradestream, getting all these exciting things done quickly, one-stop shop. Oh, I see the PS here, so she can perhaps take on that responsibility to move it forward. And now you're ready. You have all your documentation in your hands. You've paid, you're ready. And you can't get that container out. I think it's something that we need to work at very, very closely, because logistics in the movement of goods is something that can be very costly. If your container is at the back and you cannot get out, there is no value to have the paperwork done very quickly. So we need to ensure that we can do this. And I don't think necessarily space is just the solution. I think the use of big data and technology can assist us to get the kind of efficiencies that we need so that we can have quicker movement throughout our ports of entry. Also, the work of the plant quarantine department is very important, and being able to capture data for goods entering but also leaving Dominica, that is very important. So we need to expand. Eves, I'm not sure how much space I heard you said you can add something in there, quarantine, and you can add something else, port charges. I think we also need to consider how, and I see the PS of Agriculture is there because that's a challenge he has. So every day we try to count how much produce we export, and we had a meeting last week and we had a very interesting discussion on how we can actualize that objective. In order for us to do that, I am hoping that we can coordinate so we don't have to duplicate, so we don't have to find ourselves having, you know, a whole lot of disconnected networks or data collection points, that we need to now use this technology so as it grows, that it can take into account some of the important data points that we need, because we need to collect more data. And as we do, and as we become more reliant on technology, must be driven by energy. And therefore, the need for a reliable energy system is critical, because nobody wants Tradestream to be down, or Asikuda, or the other one, SmartStream, and you cannot do your work online because they take the lights. So we need to again, continue to invest in sustainable energy as well, to continue in the path of eliminating paper. And this is why our efforts in investing in geothermal energy is really a priority for the government of Dominica, because we must be able to power the use of technology. And as we move to introducing AI, and I see Minister Grant is here, artificial intelligence will have a big role to play in the platforms that we're creating. And I therefore would expect digital solution to be fully seized with how artificial intelligence can be integrated in some of the work that we're doing with Tradestream, and I hope that we can do throughout the various platforms that we will be utilizing to reduce our footprint and to facilitate transactions with the population. I look forward to a successful pilot project, and I'm hoping that we will continue to work collaboratively, as I know that there's been a joint committee with Trade, Customs, Agriculture, and the relevant ministries. We remain committed, Minister and FS, we remain committed to working with you to ensure that we can have a successful implementation of Tradestream so that we can all benefit from this exciting opportunity that is created for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Dr. Henderson. While you were speaking, I was thinking of the cycle. So we need to save some money at customs and hopefully collect more, because we now have Tradestream, so that we can invest a little more in geothermal, so we can have the reliable power. So it just fits itself all over in terms of economic development. And I have to say, this is another brick. You remember we build in Dominica brick by brick? We hear that all the time. This is another brick in Dominica's development. Dr. Honorable Irvin McIntyre joined us last December, and he hit the ground running. And one of the first agencies he visited was the Customs Division. And we've had a number of subsequent meetings with the management of Customs. He has a deep interest in that area as well. I invite him now to deliver an address to you.
Thank you very much, FS. Let me first recognize Honorable Vince Henderson, Minister for Foreign Affairs, International Business, Trade and Energy. Other members of Cabinet, we have with us Honorable Levi Peters, Honorable Fidel Grant, Honorable Julian Defoe, Ms. Karen Prevost, Secretary to the Cabinet,
Ms. Denise Edwards, our Financial Secretary, other permanent secretaries, Mr. Vincent Christmas, Acting Comptroller, Customs and Excise Division, Mr. Michael White, Acting Assistant Controller, Customs and Excise Division, Mr. Alt Vidal, Acting Assistant Controller, Customs and Excise Division, Mr. Fabian Joseph, Chief Executive Officer, Digitized Solutions, other invited guests, members of the media, the listening and viewing public. Today's launch of Tradestream is another important step in this government's continuing efforts to improve the efficiency of services delivered within the public sector. I am pleased that we are moving forward with this important initiative because it is an indication of our seriousness about a reset that touches every aspect of life of doing business in Dominica. With Tradestream, citizens will be able to apply for licenses, permits, certificates, and other documents related to imports, exports, and transit processes on one platform. The Tradestream application is part of a wider system that we are building to create a truly modern e-government. That is a government that embraces the digitization of services and information to streamline administrative processes, reduce paperwork, and save time and money. We are aiming to enhance communication with our various publics, between government and the private sector, and between government and individuals, to create a more open market and a stronger economy. Our determination to create a more conducive environment favorable to doing business is seen in our EC $75 million investment in the Caribbean Digital Transformation Program, along with other initiatives funded by tax revenues. Tradestream, therefore, is one very significant output of this agenda of e-government, aimed, I must reiterate, at optimizing opportunities for the facilitation of trade and simple business transactions for citizens. So today is a historic day, not simply because we are launching this innovation, but because we are re-emphasizing our determination to do things differently in order to build a resilient Dominica that we all wish for. We are doing so consistent with our development agenda, but also with the policy of a national reset. We cannot forget the commitment to all Dominicans by Honorable Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit during the swearing-in ceremony of our new cabinet in December 2022. I quote, "Things will be done differently. In all respects, things will be done with greater speed and with greater accountability." Tradestream is all about efficiency and accountability. Now, instead of walking from building to building, moving from one part of the city to the next to obtain the license to import white potatoes, for example, a farmer can sit at his home computer, order, and pay for his license online. Soon, he will be able to pay his port charges online, as well as there will be an online mechanism for consumer feedback through which the farmer and other clients can advise us on ways in which we can improve further on the services that we offer. This, my friends, is really and truly doing things differently. This is what we mean when we speak of a reset of our work technology, our approach to work, and our attitude to socioeconomic development. Tradestream is progress for Dominica. I wish to point out further that Tradestream fits snugly into our climate resilience and recovery plan. This plan has 6 key result areas, 3 of which are a robust economy, a well-planned and durable infrastructure, not simply physical infrastructure, but also the development of a modern ICT ecosystem, that is, with the requisite hardware and software such as Tradestream, and a strengthened institutional system which pertains to our policies, data and decision-making protocols, and our work systems. The successful implementation of Tradestream advances these three. Through the facilitation of transactions between producers and consumers, we expect to enhance the rate at which goods, services, and money are exchanged in our economy, enriching the lives of producers and consumers. Critically, we believe that this innovation will continue to enhance Dominica's ability to attract new business. New businesses will need reliable and modern digital technologies to facilitate their operations. This is a feature of modern successful enterprises, and the government of Dominica continues to invest in creating this ecosystem so that we will build a robust economy in which every citizen can reach his full potential. I think Tradestream is one remarkable example of the Customs Division collaborating with other actors in the public sector to advance our economic resilience and contribute to national development. And so I wish to commend Mr. Deja and his entire team, many of you here today, for the tremendous effort that is put into their work at the front line of our borders, responsible for the collection of revenue for the state. Every day, you are contributing to the facilitation of trade, and I certainly look forward to the full implementation of Tradestream, which will further enhance your work at the customs. As I end, let me issue a special appeal to our citizens requiring these services at the ports of entry to take advantage of the speed and efficiency offered by Tradestream. We should embrace new initiatives like Tradestream, which revolutionizes the environment for doing business in Dominica, assist us in the collection of revenue, and helps entrepreneurs to move goods, services, and finance at a faster and more efficient rate. I am proud of the work that has been done to get us to this day. I salute each of you, inclusive of the Financial Secretary, the Comptroller of Customs, and every member of staff of the Customs and Excise Division. I appeal to you to keep on working to ensure that we can further enhance the climate for doing business in Dominica to achieve our goals of a resilient Dominica. I thank you.
Our role as government is to make Tradestream available, and it is our hope that all our traders will begin to use Tradestream. I want to, at this point, acknowledge the work of the Comptroller of Customs, who's not with us. He's actually on extended vacation. We would have liked to have him here, but we thought since he had extended vacation that we would go ahead and launch the system so that we could begin to use it. I know he's listening online, viewing online, and I just want to say a special good morning to him. At this point, I call on Mr. Alt Vidal, Acting Assistant Comptroller, to deliver the vote of thanks.
A pleasant good morning to everybody. Let me acknowledge the presence of Dr. Irving McIntyre, Honorable Minister of Finance, Economic Development, Climate Resilience, and Social Security, Dr. Vince Henderson, Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs, International Business, Trade and Energy, other ministers, Ms. Denise Edwards, Financial Secretary, and other permanent secretaries, Mr. Vincent Christmas and Michael White, Acting Comptroller and Acting Deputy Comptroller of Customs, the Chief Executive Officer of Digitized Solution, Mr. Fabian Joseph and his hard-working team, and all others gracing us with your presence this morning. On behalf of the management and staff of the Customs and Excise Division, I'm here to say grateful thanks to all those who contributed to making today's launch of Tradestream possible. I begin by thanking the Almighty Father for his presence in our midst and for enabling completion of this very timely project. To the Honorable Minister, Dr. Irvin McIntyre, and the Financial Secretary, Ms. Edwards, let me extend profound thanks and appreciation to you and the Ministry of Finance for recognizing the importance of such a project and for support and resources, financial and otherwise, that was put into bringing this to fruition. Special thanks to Honorable Minister Henderson and his staff for taking time from his busy schedule to be part of this activity this morning. The Ministry of Trade being one of the most critical entities and partners for the facilitation of international trade. We at Customs convey gracious thanks to you for the very cordial exchanges and exciting existing cooperation between our two departments. Thanks to Mr. Fabian and his team for accepting to undertake the development and to assist with the training and implementation of this project. We look forward to a seamless operation and adaptation to its use, bearing in mind the level of foresight, effort, and resources that has been invested into materialization of the product. The effort and contribution of our Asicuda team, headed by Mrs. Charles, cannot be overlooked or overstated. We know that they work tirelessly alongside Digital Solution to coordinate an implementation of the project. That also includes training of staff of the Department of Customs and Excise, other government agencies, brokers, and other stakeholders. Successful completion of this activity sometimes necessitate infringement of our own personal time and really going beyond the call of duty to ensure that every T was crossed and I's dotted to eliminate every apparent and foreseeable glitch which may occur during implementation and use of the product. Last but not least, I thank the management and staff of the Customs and Excise Division for the participation and support in the completion of the Tradestream project. Special thanks also to all others who contributed in one way or the other towards this activity. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vidal. Over the next weeks and coming months, we will heighten publicity on Tradestream and basically give the public a good enough idea of what is available, because quite a bit is available within Tradestream. It's not SmartStream this time. Within Tradestream, including, let's remember, including certificates from planned quarantine. So let us remember that part of it as well. So bear in mind, planned quarantine, trade, and I see the director of trade there. I want to give him a special highlight. He works very, very closely with us. Planned quarantine, trade, customs, we are in. What we are missing the port charges, and we are missing the Bureau of Standards. We are going to work actively to get them on board as well, so we can truly have the single window. Thanks to the media for coming. As usual, you'll respond very quickly and very easily, and we're very, very appreciative always. And at this point, we will have a demonstration of the system, which includes our traders. I want to say a special good morning to all our businesses and our traders who work with us daily. We're trying to facilitate you even better. And so wherever you are, a special good morning to you. At this point, we will have the demonstration.
He's going to be applying for an application. So he's preparing.
So this is Grinda, our experts at the customs. The query has both been followed.
Okay, so after you have entered all the information as to what you're going to be applying for and uploading your invoices, the user will get an email right here saying that we have received a request for your LPCO application, and it gives you a one-time password. Okay. That's it, yeah. You did it already.
send it to my personal receipt. Okay, we can get it on my.
Okay, the broker also got it on his phone. All right. Now he's going to begin the application.
Everything else is there already. The full name of the exporter.
Enter in the exporter name. Exporter address. Enter in the item to be imported. Enter in the correct country of origin.
Yeah, probably the invoice.
Uploading his invoice and submitting the import license. Okay, import permit submitted, and he should be getting an email on his phone saying that it has been submitted. Okay, now we will ask an officer of the Ministry of Trade to log in. Thank you, Javi.
That's it for me, right? I don't have to come back to show.